Hey there, focus learners, and welcome to today's Explainer. We're jumping right into a really beautiful, kind of allegorical journey today, and it's all about conquering something I think we all know a little too well: an anxious, totally overwhelmed mind. We're going to break down this inspiring story that shows how just a tiny shift in our perspective can completely flip the script on how we experience our daily lives. Finding quiet in this super loud world of ours is a huge challenge for pretty much everyone. So get comfortable, settle in, and let's embark on this together. Okay, let's dive right into this. Can a single glass of water literally cure a racing mind? I know, it sounds almost too simple, right? Usually when we talk about anxiety, we're looking at complex, multi-layered solutions or, these long-term strategies. But our source material today introduces this totally fascinating idea of using a shockingly simple, everyday object, literally just a glass of water, to calm a deeply complex internal storm. As we'll see while we unpack this, the water itself isn't magic, no way. But the absolute unwavering focus it demands, well, that just might be. Section 1, the stormy mind trapped in the noise. So let me introduce you to Marco. He's a 24-year-old guy whose mind is just going a mile a minute. I mean, imagine a mind constantly overflowing with thoughts all day long. Stuff rushing in, stuff rushing out, making him feel completely uneasy and just utterly exhausted. He's entirely trapped between two really heavy extremes. On one side, he's weighed down by sadness and regrets about the past, and on the other, he's completely consumed by this endless worry about the future. And because all his mental energy is spent either pulling backward or pushing forward, he literally has zero capacity left to actually experience the present moment. He's missing the right now completely. And this internal struggle, it manifests in some incredibly relatable physical ways. Because of this relentless cycle of overthinking, Marco couldn't sleep well at night. You know that feeling lying awake while your brain just cycles through every worst-case scenario? Yeah, that was him. He couldn't feel even a baseline sense of calm during the day. And honestly, perhaps most tragically of all, he practically forgot how to smile. The toll this anxiety took wasn't just some quiet thing happening in his head. It was aggressively hijacking his entire ability to function and actually enjoy being alive. Driven to absolute desperation, Marco hears this compelling rumor. Way out in a distant village tucked up in the hills, there lives a wise old man. But listen, this isn't just any old man. Our sources point out that he actually used to be a highly famous, incredibly sought-after psychologist back in the chaotic city. He'd spend his entire career helping people untangle their messy minds before just leaving all that city hustle behind. Now he lives quietly, close to nature, occasionally offering advice to travelers who pass through. Exhausted, but deeply hopeful, Marco decides he just has to make the journey. He needs this former psychologist to help him finally find some peace. Section 2. The Water Glass Challenge, the Quest for Calm. After days of really long, tiring travel, Marco finally makes it to this village in the hills. He spots a small house covered in lush green vines, and right there, sitting quietly on the porch, is the old man. His eyes are closed, and he's radiating this deep, profound peace. I mean, the contrast between Marco's internal chaos and the old man's external calmness is just striking. Marco walks up softly and makes this heartfelt plea. He says, "Grandfather, my mind is very restless. I cannot stop thinking. I want peace in my heart." It's this total, vulnerable admission of defeat. The old man slowly opens his eyes, gives him this remarkably calm smile, and says, "So you are looking for peace? Then come with me. I will give you a small task." The old man leads Marco to the yard and lays out the rules for what sounds like a very unique challenge. Step 1, he fills a glass with water completely to the brim. It's so incredibly full that even the tiniest little shake is going to make it spill over. Step 2, Marco has to walk from where he's standing to the very edge of the village, turn around, and come all the way back. And step 3, this is the ultimate catch, he must not spill even one single drop. The young, restless guy accepts the high-stakes challenge. He carefully, slowly grabs the glass and steps out onto the path. Instantly, Marco steps right into a wildly chaotic, sensory-rich environment. The village roads are incredibly narrow and extremely busy. This is definitely not some quiet stroll through an empty park, folks. He's navigating this tightly packed, unpredictable space while holding a glass so full that even breathing too hard feels like a massive risk. You can just feel the physical tension spiking instantly as he tries to maintain perfect balance right in the middle of this crowd. And adding to that intense tension is an absolute explosion of sudden movement and noise. People aren't just casually walking, some of them are outright running past him, totally oblivious to his delicate task.
Shopkeepers are shouting at the top of their lungs, aggressively calling out to customers and hawking their wares right in his ears. Everywhere Marco turns, there's some loud dynamic distraction threatening to bump his arm, shatter his intense focus, and ruin the whole challenge.
And then, on top of the running crowds and the shouting vendors, there are barking dogs sprinting wildly through the dusty streets. It's like the final, unpredictable layer of distraction. And it creates this stark, dramatic sensory contrast, right? On one hand, you've got the incredibly loud, chaotic noise of the world buzzing violently all around him. But on the other hand, you have the absolute, unbroken, silent focus that Marco is forced to maintain on the rim of that glass just to keep the water from spilling. Amazingly, Marco makes it back to the old man completely successful. He didn't spill a single drop. The old man praises his careful work, but then he hits him with a bit of a trick question. He asks, "Did you see the children playing? Did you hear the dogs barking?" Marco looks totally surprised by this and replies, "I didn't see or hear anything. I was only focusing on the glass." So the crucial point is that while Marco was physically walking through utter chaos, mentally, he was somewhere completely calm and undisturbed. Which brings us to section 3, the secret to peace, the power of the present. The old man smiles gently, realizing Marco has just completely accidentally solved his own problem. The secret here is that peace isn't some magical destination you have to travel days to find outside of yourself. Actually, according to the wise man, peace is something that's already inside you. It activates naturally when you live entirely in the present moment. Marco's journey wasn't about finding peace in a specific location on a map or from a specific guru. He was basically tricked into finding it right there, in the now. To truly wrap our heads around this, we have to look at the psychology of cognitive load. When your mind is wandering, pulling from past regrets and projecting into future anxieties, it gets filled up with fear, confusion, and just endless extra thoughts. But when it's anchored in a high-stakes present moment, like successfully holding a completely full glass of water while dodging folks in a chaotic street, your brain simply hits its maximum cognitive capacity. There's literally no working memory left to process sadness about yesterday or fear about tomorrow. Because the present action demands 100% of your processing power, your mind is physically forced to just be quiet. Marco finally grasps the profound truth behind this exercise. Real peace comes when the mind stays entirely in this moment. If he wants to calm his stormy, restless mind permanently, he doesn't need to aggressively fight those anxious thoughts. Actually, scratch that. Trying to fight them usually makes it worse. He just needs to intentionally keep his working memory completely occupied with the exact task and moment right in front of him. It's all about redirection, not resistance. Our source material paints this incredibly beautiful, serene picture of Marco's return journey. As the sunset casting its warm last light on the ground, with birds flying back to their nests, Marco walked home. But this time was different. His mind was firmly rooted in the present step, the present breath. That lifelong exhausting restlessness, it had been completely replaced with a steady inner peace. Just by shifting his internal focus away from the abstract past and future and onto the immediate present, he walked home a profoundly changed man. He finally held the key to calming his own mind. So I want to leave you with a lingering question to chew on. How can you apply the water glass focus to your own noisy life today? What is the task, the moment, or the anchor you can use right now to tune out the barking dogs and shouting crowds of your own personal anxieties? The peace you're desperately looking for isn't far away on some mountain peak. It's right in front of you, waiting for your complete, undivided attention. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Until next time, stay focused, stay present, and keep learning.